What if there was a way, a new, fresh approach to understanding, to navigating, and actually playing your guitar, so you could spend more of your precious time actually playing tastefully over tens of millions of your favorite style of song, old and new, classic rock, southern rock, old country, new country, blues of all sorts, and actually spend more of your time working on your own unique voice, how you approach this thing. What if there was like a 3-step program that somebody could teach you that would help you do that? I've done that in my own playing for over 25 years now. I'm super old, I guess. I've been teaching it to young children and old adults and people that were frustrated and done and had quit several times for the last 15 years, tens of thousands of them, all right? These simple concepts that I'm going to show you this week and beyond. It's important that you know I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm not going to leave you alone after this week. I'm not going to disappear on you. I'm here to help you this week and beyond, all right? Everything I'm going to show you is not going to take away a single thing from you. Anything you've learned, if you've spent 35 years, 40 years struggling or learning, or new instructors, or watching thousands of videos, reading hundreds of books and practicing your scales, it's not going to take away from any of that. But on the contrary, it's going to enrich by simplifying everything you've ever known and everything you'll learn from this day forward. So today, in this short video, I'm going to try to not overwhelm you. I got so much that I want to show you. I'm not even going to be able to fit it into this week, which is fine. I have your email address. I know where you live online. So hang with me, all right? I got tons of neat stuff to show you. But in today's video, I'm going to show you the first technique, the first pillar, the first stage, the first step of understanding that I have called the induction technique. Why did I call it that? Because it sounds technical and it makes me sound smart. All right? Because sometimes when you have something so simple to show somebody, sometimes it doesn't have the impact on them because they think, well, I already know that. And you can't get the wonderful revelation through to certain people. So I've called it the induction technique. All right? And that's how we're going to go moving forward. The induction technique basically takes several pieces, several lessons, if you will, several understandings and concepts, and blocks them in together in one unit, creating a tiny, simplified framework of a bunch of otherwise confusing concepts and things that were usually blocked separately. When you learn this framework, train your brain and your muscle memory. I hope that you break a sweat a little bit with this, and I hope that you can find the courage to fight through any frustration that you're having, because I promise you it'll pay off. When you know a simple framework like this, just in step one, it's going to cover millions of different songs that you're going to be able to play, and I'm going to show you how in just a few minutes. These are transposable blocks. They're movable and changeable, and you could embellish upon them as you see fit and as you grow as a guitarist. If I were to put it into one simple hillbilly term for you, it would be, I'm going to show you how to understand stuff without learning a bunch of other stuff, because a lot of it's unnecessary. There is not a lot to know, guys, about all the favorite styles of music that I mentioned earlier. There's not a lot to know, and that's a fact. This is all about exploring the tiny bit of information that exists on these subjects, all right? And I think that's why people have confused it, and they've tried to make several thousand products and books out of something that is so simple and fun. And all it is a couple of frameworks like I'm going to be showing you, and then the rest is just exploring and going on a journey with yourself and figuring out different cool ways to embellish upon it and different ways of exaggerating the simplicity of things. All right, let's get started. I'm ready. Down below, you'll see a chat area for comments. I want every single one of you to put something in those comments about each video and throughout this week and beyond. I'm going to be checking it several times a day for any hang-ups, any roadblocks that you might have, any misunderstandings that you're dealing with of any sort, of any kind. I just want to help you this week. I'm going to be checking it several times a day. There's comments down there, and just answering your guys' questions as we progress through these videos. Also, your download link below each video might not be available while you're watching the video, but within a day or two, we'll have those links down there, because for the most part, we're doing all of this off the cuff and live because I wanted it to be fresh and new for everybody. Grab your guitar right now and let's begin. All right, let's talk about shapes. Shapes, not squares and circles and triangles, but the shape your hand makes when you form a chord. Whatever shape your hand makes when you're forming a chord. Okay? These are all shapes. I never think in scales, never have and never will, and I certainly don't teach in scales. The reason is, when you learn a 7-note scale, you have to learn it in all different keys. You have to learn, like I said, the modes and the theory around it, and when there's so many rules around when to play it and when to not play it, and it limits you, drastically limits you, okay? So today's short lesson might be shorter than the introduction because I'm going to give you some fantastic raw materials to play with. I'm going to show you a few of the ways I think when I'm playing around a certain chord, okay? And you're going to see how it perfectly integrates with a chord progression of any style of music, all right? And I'm going to prove that today. I'm going to try to not overwhelm you, like I said. I'm just going to give you some raw material and tell you what to do with it, and hopefully you'll work on this stuff in your downtime, your practice time, before the next videos, okay? Because I'm going to build on this thing, and like I said, this week and beyond, I'm just going to keep inspiring you with this system, all right? So let's come down here to A, since we're already in A. This is the shape of A that I play around 99% of the time. If you bring this A string up to the 4th fret, go ahead and walk it up. A, and then 2nd fret to 4th fret. And use your ring finger. That way you can grab these 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings on the 2nd fret. That's how I play an A chord 99% of the time. Okay? So that's the shape, the first shape of A that I want to demonstrate with this demonstration, okay? This will create the template for you. All right? And just come up here to the 5th fret. I don't know if you play an A like this. I usually play it like this. I just drop the bass and I just play it like that. And depending on if you're more of a rhythm guitar player and you just want to strum and things like that, I don't even play bar chords. I don't play bar chords like that, or power chords, unless the song calls for it, okay? But just learn these simple shapes and you'll see why we're just limiting ourselves to 1 or 2 shapes of A, all right? Here's the next. It's kind of the triad, the 1, 3, and 5 notes of A. So far we have in the regular, just 1, 3, 5 triad of A with the octave on top. Or you could add the other 5th. These are just octaves. The other strings are only necessary for ambience and body, okay? Just to add some bass notes. But if you're playing in a band, it doesn't matter, especially if you're a lead guitar player. Okay, there's the 2 shapes. Now, instead of scales, I think when I'm in this first shape of A, I'm thinking of notes around the scale. notes around the scale. And don't pay attention to whether it's a minor scale or major scale right now. I'm just going to build this framework for us, okay? Let's go on up here. Let's go up to this one, okay? And let's only focus on, yeah, we'll do that. I was only going to give you like 3 notes of this one. So there are notes around this shape as well. We'll just focus on the pentatonic, the major sounding. And these will be tabbed out for you, so I don't make the video too long going over what frets and what strings. I'm just using a simple technique, hammer on. And a pull off. Okay? What I want you to do is visualize the shape of your fingers. If you were to draw this, it would be a shape, all right? Now, I'm always thinking, whatever shape I'm in, I'm always thinking around 4 or 5 frets right here, okay? Okay, that was kind of blues, but... So play around with those notes. I'll tap them out, and in both shapes right here. So here's the first one again. Just the major pentatonic. Okay. Same thing up here. Okay, 2 shapes, notes around both of those shapes, all right? We're just thinking major right now. Now, the next thing I want you to work on, I'm going to demonstrate this with a couple of really nice backing tracks, but they're kind of generic in the way that will serve everyone, okay? Just know this works over several hundreds of styles and chord progressions. Just this one framework, okay? There are thousands, naturally, but like I said, we're just going to start basic and build this framework out. So the next thing, so there's a shape, there's another shape, and then there's notes around those 2 shapes. All right? And they happen to be major sounding notes. Okay, and you notice I'm only using my pinky when I want to. It's just so most of you won't yell at me and say, why don't you use your pinky? I get yelled at a lot. It's because it's not that strong and I'm too lazy to strengthen it. That's why I don't use the pinky. There's no rules around it. All right, so 2 shapes, notes around. Okay, and that's all I want you to do is go up to the 4th string up on this 2nd shape, all right? All right, here's the next thing. There are transitions between this shape and this shape. So you want it all to flow as one. So the notes around this shape are the notes around this shape. They're the same notes, just an octave higher. Same exact notes, all right? That's why tabs are so inefficient sometimes, okay? Because it really doesn't show you this stuff. And a lot of times a private teacher won't either. So this is all, the 2 shapes are the same chord. So it's just A and notes around A. That's it, okay? Transitioning between these 2 shapes and the same notes, same chord, there are infinite ways of doing this, okay? Here's what I want you to work on. We already slid up from A, 2nd fret to the 4th, and then 4th string, 2nd, 4th, 3rd string, 2nd, 4th, 3rd string, 2nd, 4th, 2nd string, 2nd, 4th, all right, as 2nd, 5th, and then same thing on the 1st string, 2nd and 5th. Okay, what I want you to do with this is when you get here, slide up, and then descend. Okay, so. All right, if you want to go further than that, which you should, is slide from this note back down to this. So now it's just one cascading, one 5-note scale played twice. That's it. Okay? And we're using basically one technique, and that's sliding. Sliding up and then sliding down. Okay? Now on each one of these strings, you can mix and match the two shapes and the two scales however you want. This is where the journey begins, okay? And this is what I want you to explore above all else. All other things, explore and go on this journey with the billions of ways you can get from this shape to that shape, okay? There are infinite techniques that we'll talk about in the next video, okay? Video number 2. That's just one technique, the 2 slides, and then from here down. All right, you can stop on any of these notes and slide down to the corresponding note in the previous or next one. You see how it's mixing up? I hope I'm making it clear. I'm trying to go fast. That way I don't kind of make you feel monotonous at all. I'm repeating myself a lot, I know, because I get a lot of these questions. So let's do it on the 3rd string. Let's just go down to the 3rd string and slide up, and then ascend, and then slide back down from the 3rd string. I love doing that. Now let's mix the 2 together. Where we slid up on the 1st string, and then we slid down. So let's just mix it up real quick. All right. Let's go to the 1st string. See how I'm kind of just playing with after your muscle memory catches up. All right, this takes a while to get your muscle memory and your brain to be coherent with one another, and you can do this without looking, without thinking. Okay, it doesn't take a long time to achieve this. What it takes is playing along with the backing tracks that I'm going to provide here in a minute. I'm going to show you a demonstration of me just playing around with these 2 shapes and these 2 scales, which are actually just one chord and the notes around that chord in 2 different parts, okay? Now, of course, this goes all the way up the neck, and we'll get into that. I don't want to overwhelm anyone right now, and I'm hoping the advanced guys and guys that already know this stuff will also work on this, because when you sit with one focus, laser-targeted focus like this, and you explore around something simple, you can find something, many things, profound within the simplicity of just these 2 things, all right? We're going to expand, we're going to build, just like Legos, we're going to build these blocks, but you'll find that there's not very many blocks, there's not very many Legos, okay? There's only a handful of them. And your journey as a guitarist is just, when you practice, don't practice nothing else but what I'm about to show you, okay? And then later on, I'll show you how to transpose all of this, and it'll be magical. I'm serious, magical. And we'll learn the techniques. We'll learn different ways in and out. I'll show you 1,000 different ways if you'll just stick with me, all right? Let's fire up a backing track. It's slow. It's kind of country. And it's just in the key of A. It just loops and loops and loops for, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe. I won't play the whole 10 minutes, but I want you to kind of play along with me while I'm playing it. All I'm going to give you tabs-wise are these two shapes and the notes around those shapes, all right? Because that's all I want you to know at this point. As I play, I'm going to do other cool stuff to give you some ideas, to maybe spark some inspiration, all right? So I'm going to fire up that just A loop vamp, all right, in A, and just kind of mess around with A. And then I'm going to really turn on some magic. And I'm going to give you, I'll talk to you after this short backing track. I'm just going to play a minute or two, all right? Let's just practice the chord shape first. Now let's work on the scale going up. Play these scales, see the shape in your mind. See the shape. See the shape as you play. Some of those techniques I'll talk about, all right, in the next video. See how beautiful music can be made just over those two shapes. Cool. Just two shapes of A. Of course it's going to work over the key of A, right? It's A. And all these country sounds and this major scale, of course it's going to be country. But what about like when we're playing over a minor chord, Doug? How rude. What about if it's a minor? What if it's kind of bluesy? What if it needs a different sound, a different tone? All right? This next backing track is going to be out of the key of F sharp minor. What? So, F sharp minor. The lesson here is every major scale is also a minor blues scale. It's the relative scale, and that gets into theory and confusion and stuff. But in the thing of keeping this simple, all right? In my promise of keeping this really simple, let's not change anything. Let's just see what an F sharp minor, beautiful blues with tons of chords in it. It's got a B minor in it. I don't know if it's got all kinds of neat chords in it, all right? I just threw in a bunch of chords. It's a beautiful chord progression in the key of F sharp minor 7, if you want. Okay? All right, let me show you one thing real quick. That chord I just played, F sharp minor 7. Do you notice anything familiar about that? Remember the first shape of A? Just add an F sharp bass to that. Alright. What about that other shape? Sounds kind of bluesy, doesn't it? Let's fire up that backing track real quick, and I'm going to walk you through the exact same stuff. What I want you to do as you watch me is get inspiration, get ideas, and work on this with your guitar. Play around with these two shapes, the notes around both shapes and how they connect. Connect them differently. Slide in, bend up to them if you're that far along. If you're not, don't worry, we'll get to that point. I'm going to show you a billion techniques, all right, to connect these shapes. Then we can spread on it, all right? This is going to be a blast. I hope you're still interested and with me. I know some of you advanced guys are probably like, whatever, Doug, this is stupid. But some of you beginner guys are probably like, I need more. So I'm trying to manage the dynamic here, all right? Anyone can get something out of this. I've been playing for, I don't know, 25, 30 years now. I've been in every studio situation. I've been on the road with major label recording artists. I've recorded in Nashville and everywhere, and all these guys. I'm pretty famous. I'm a big deal. And I'm excited about this simple stuff, all right? Because when I draw a blank, ever, on stage or in a recording session, I revert back to these simple lessons, and it inspires me and motivates me. All right, let's fire up that backing track real quick. I'll talk you through it, and then I'll be right back with you here in a couple minutes. one scale. Songs are either major or minor. All right? What'd you learn today? Two shapes of one chord and the notes around both of those shapes and the infinite ways of connecting those two. All we did was cover one thing today. This is one system, one framework, and I hope that inspired you a little bit. Did you hear all those chords? I don't even know what all chords. There was a D major 7. There was the F sharp minor that the chord was based around. That was kind of the root key of the song. I'm going to show you real quick before we go. And before, I want you, please promise me, you'll comment below in the comments section and you'll download your materials, no matter how good you are or no matter how beginner you might be. You know, this is geared around, I guess, the guys that will get the most benefit out of this are the intermediate fellas that are transitioning into being more advanced and wanting to know more. But guys, this is worth teaching your kids and grandkids too, even if you're advanced, you know. And if you're beginner, this is worth stretching and striving for. I hope I'm getting that point across, and I will in the next couple videos, all right? Let's go down here to A real fast. All right, and if you're doing the A major scale like we just were, just the pentatonic, all right? This is just 5 notes of the 7. And I'll show you those other 2 notes. All right, I used them in that last backing track, if you recognize it or not. I used them a couple times. What made that sound so good was the techniques. The vibrato, the hammer-ons, pull-offs, slide-ins, slide-downs. That's what you need to work on, all right? Not just the scales or the notes. Work on all of it together, okay? Can't shut up, can I? So, just to give you the reason real quick, and just the hillbilly way that I find if the song is in a minor or a blues, straight blues, it doesn't have to be a minor chord, because blues, you're playing minor notes when you're playing blues, all right? So it's the same thing, blues and this pretty minor chord you just heard. The easy way to find it is it's the 6th note of the major scale, okay? So if you're an A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's an F sharp note. So if the song is in F sharp minor, play that A major scale, or the one you just learned. Here's another easy way to find it, all right? Go down 3 frets. Let's say all you know is the song's in F sharp minor. Doug, what do I do? It's in F sharp minor. Oh my God. What major scale do I play? So here's the F sharp. Go up 3 frets. 1, 2, 3. Play that major scale. Okay? And we'll get into more of this. So if the song's in E minor. Okay, the song's in E minor. Oh my God, Doug. Go up 3 frets. 1, 2, 3. Play the G major shapes and scales over that E minor chord, and you'll be golden. All right. I'm having to restrain myself because I just want to show you the whole system today. This when I learned this stuff, these simple, and I learned how to start creating these little templates. That way I didn't have to know theory or modes or anything. I wanted to get a gig in my dad's band like I was having dreams about it, okay? I was sweating at night. I wanted to be the lead guitar player in my dad's band at 16 or 17 years old. When I stumbled on to exactly what I'm showing you, and in this week, you better stick with me, all right? It's going to get amazing. When I stumbled on to these simple, oh my God, that works over that. I don't have to change nothing. I don't have to learn a new scale to play over these chord progressions. that would have worked over several 100,000 million songs. All right, that's one number, by the way, 100,000 million. That what I've just shown you in this lesson, it's all about exploration. But when I started stumbling on this, let me tell you real quick, it took me 6 months to be the lead guitar player in my dad's band. Isn't that awesome? 6 months. And I just worked on it every day. I got frustrated, got pissed off, got mad at myself, slammed, hit my fingers and everything. But it clicks. All right? When you put a demand on your fingers and your mind and brain by focusing strategically on what I'm showing you, and get your backing tracks and tabs out and watch this video several thousand times if you need to. You put a demand on your brain and your fingers, they will eventually obey. It doesn't take a long time. It just takes some creating those pathways, all right? Creating those neuro networks in your fingers and your brain and everything, how it connects together. Before long, you'll be playing it without thinking about it, all right? I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Download your stuff and leave me a comment below. Please let me know that you're here with me.